Well, welcome YouTube friends and family to today's edition of the Wellness Homesteader. So today we are finally starting our Falloween series. So that word is a combination of fall and a Halloween. So if you're not into Halloween decorating, don't leave, because I will have some strictly fall projects that will carry you clear into Thanksgiving. I've been really excited this year for fall. I love the change of seasons. Fall is my favorite season. So I kind of did that little Dollar Tree haul share with you a couple weeks ago, I think it was, or a week or so ago. And let me share with you, it is the 11th today in Ohio. We've been under a heat advisory. This is the third day in a row. So our heat index has been like 100 to 110, and I have been going out at like 6:30 to do my watering, any harvesting that needs to be done. And my garden's quite small. You've all seen it. I didn't plant as much this year because after doing my inventory, I realized that I really needed to get through a lot of my home canned goods to use them up within 2 years. So next year will be a much bigger gardening season for me. So I did the little tease with the Dollar Tree splatter screens. So I'm gonna insert a clip right here, and I'm going to show you what I did to make these beautifully orange splatter screens. So a couple things I did learn when I was painting. Don't do it on a windy day. So I might have had a little orange on my feet. And if y'all know me, I never wear shoes in the summer, or rarely wear shoes. But also, I just used a hefty bag and stretched it out. And because hefty bags are expensive, I hung it up over a clothes drying rack that I have out in the garage. Let it dry. It did not stick together, so that will be next week's trash, adorned with orange. Here is a note: weigh down the edges of that plastic with rocks, because if the wind blows and flips the plastic up onto the screen, what will happen, and I don't know if y'all can even see this. Okay, right here, well, look, right there. See that little boo-boo? It actually was like a glob of paint, and I just took a toothbrush, a dry toothbrush, and gently brushed that excess out. But I think in the long run, it'll never be noticed. So I used the Krylon paint. I painted all three of them. As you can see, I'm not terribly concerned about the handle because we're going to cover those up. So first thing I want to tell you is, as much as I'd like to take credit for this, I didn't invent it. So I've never commented on this channel. So the lady that's idea this was, I just want to give her credit, but she has no clue as to who I am. But it was Country Charm Rustic Farmhouse Decor. I am so bad. I'll try to put a link to her channel in the description box. Country Charm by Tracy, that's what it was. And she actually gave credit to another person who created this craft, and everybody has a different spin on it. So the original idea that both of these ladies had was to take one screen, put the handle up, overlap a screen, put the handle down, overlap a screen, put the handle down. I'm doing this the wrong way. There we go. Well, I don't think I have them in the right order, but you get the gist of it. And then bend these handles back so that it will stand on a table. I'm not going to do that. And here's why. I will tell you guys, these things are, see how flimsy they are? I'm barely pushing on that. My luck, it would break off. So what I decided to do instead is I am going to create 3 pumpkins. If I can get them situated right. And let me kind of move you here. See if, oh yes, much better. If y'all could see it in here. It's really overcast today, so like every lighting thing I own is on. So if you notice my skin looks dewy, I will give partial credit to the light. But guys, do not miss our September 3rd live with Kim and Jasper. I will be releasing my new skincare line. And I want to tell you, at 60, okay, y'all have seen my wrinkles. I've been out. You don't see them as much here, but you know, yeah, I got wrinkles. But let me tell you what, this has been a labor of love on the moisturizer side since I've been using this, and I had some real big disasters, and I'll share that on the live. I am telling you, it is amazing. Lavender, German chamomile, organic oils. Y'all don't want to miss it. Okay, enough promoting. So, what I want to do first is I want to figure out the configuration that I'm going to do. And I think I don't want it so wide that it won't fit on the door. But I also don't want them too like even. And if you notice, I've got a very dilapidated, let me scoot my chair back here. Ignore the food stains on the table. Thought I had that covered up. I have it on a cutting board, you know, like a self-healing cutting mat, so that I can line up and see, like, you know, how exactly do I want that? So I want to make sure my handles are straight. So using those lines is a big advantage. Okay, so I think, I want to go something like that. So the middle is about 1/2 inch lower than the sides. Guys, it doesn't have to be this picky. I just want it to look really, really nice. So first thing I'm going to do, now that I've kind of decided how I'm going to lay it out, is I'm going to go ahead and hot glue some of the nautical rope from the Dollar Tree. So we have $3 in the screens. I think I'll probably use both of these. You can use anything you want. It does not have to be, okay, where's my scissors? This particular brand, and it used to be, when the Dollar Tree sold nautical rope, it came in like 13 or 14 feet. And yeah, inflation has struck the Dollar Tree because it's not anymore. And these have little plastic things like glued on the end to keep it from fraying. But let me tell you, when you hit that with hot glue, it's not a good thing. So let's just, what I have here is probably from 1975, my glue gun. And I did actually break down and order a mini glue gun because my fault with this one is not that it doesn't work. It's that it definitely puts a big fat bead of glue. So the other thing I'm going to be using, and I saved the package, are these from the Dollar Tree, these finger protectors. So if you've ever had a hot glue burn, guys, I have burnt myself under my fingernail and blistered, and it's so painful. And then also from the makeup section, this is one of their mask spatulas. So $1 for 3 of these, $1 for this. This will greatly protect your hands. So I'm just going to start on the middle one, and I am using sort of a universal glue, and I am going to, ouch, burn myself first off the bat, so that tells me put it on my middle finger. Oh my word, hot glue, love-hate relationship for sure. Okay. And again, you know, if you have a mini glue gun, that's what I would recommend. You do want to stay on the top as much as you can. Make sure the handle is right side up. Yeah, this is grabbing good. So you can see what it's going to look like here. So I know that this is kind of boring. So I'm going to continue all the way around, then I'll bring you back to show you what we do with the next screen. So when you come to the end where you're going to meet your first piece of rope and you cut, the rope has a tendency to fray. So what I'm doing here is I'm just twisting it back together. I'm going to apply a generous amount of glue. And using my protected fingers and my little spatula, this is what we have. You really can't even tell. So you're going to have a lot of the little pieces of jute that's coming out of the rope. You may have some hot glue strings. I would say just pick those away. And I didn't say this to start. I like the rustic farmhouse decor. So this is definitely rustic country type craft. Anything that's laying kind of at a weird angle, I'm just gonna kind of roll it in a little bit, put a little bit more glue on. And again, I'm just using an all-purpose glue, and it seems to be working perfectly fine. The Dollar Tree has the Sure Bond or clear glue sticks. Okay, so now that we've finished that, I have about 5 feet 4 inches left. Let's see if we can go around. Oh yeah, we've got plenty. So you've got a couple options. I was debating here on doing it a bit different. So you could just put your rope along this way and leave the middle pumpkin, which these are pumpkins, plain, or you could go around and there's no sense putting it underneath because it won't lay flat. Go ahead and put some rope in the middle. So I think that's what I want to do. But first, I'm going to relay these out now that we've decided kind of how we want them. Get them all level and straight. And drop this one down about a 1/2 inch. I do think this is an important part of it. And then I am just going to take a black marker. I've got to jump up and get that and mark how far around the glue goes. So one other thing, you do need some really good heavy duty scissors. These would not cut it. This is the sturdiest piece of a 3-piece pack, and that cut the nautical rope no problem. So let me, y'all know I can't have everything ready. Let me grab my black marker and we'll get those marked out and glued down and get to putting this together. So as you can see, we have our nautical rope glued around the outside edges of all 3 of our pumpkins. But before I actually start wiring these together, I want to, just for ease, cover what is going to be the stem of the pumpkin with some burlap. Now you could use twine, which is going to take a lot because this is fairly long. I'm actually, I think, going to cut this in half. This is about 6 inches, and I think it'll just make it easier to handle, to wrap around and around and around. So another thing you can do that I did not mention, if you would like, you can bend your pumpkin stems, if you will, a little bit off to the side. I'm not super crazy about a lot of bending on these. Yeah, that did absolutely nothing. So I don't think I'm going to. I just feel like that they're, for $1, they're not exactly high quality, so probably a better idea to like bend them before you start your project to make sure you're not going to have a broken one and have to go to plan B. So I'm going to just start here with the middle one, and I'm just going to cut a piece of my burlap here, and this is about 18 inches long. Try to tell you how much I use. And this is a self-healing cutting mat specifically for rotary cutting, so that works out fine. And this doesn't have to be real exact. I am just gonna eyeball what half is. And then my plan is simply to start winding this around. So I want to just kind of see how it's going to look before I start. And this is kind of the look I'm going for. Yeah, I think it's going to take both pieces, but let's just give it a start and a try and see what happens. I tell you guys, these things really save you. I actually did blister my finger already, but it wouldn't be a good craft project if I didn't have an injury. So I'm gonna glue the burlap both to itself as well as to the handle as I'm building this up. And I think the burlap gives that perfect rustic texture for the look I'm going for. Just remember that glue is hot. I'm just continuing to work up. And I'm pausing just a moment just to let that cool and sort of grab. And then now as we get to the end, we're going to want to taper this so it looks more like a pumpkin stem. So definitely going to take more than one, and I'll just cut this piece away. Maybe I should have bought 10 of the protective fingers. Oh my goodness. Only me. Okay. Actually, I kind of like that little piece sticking off, but it is pretty long, so, you know, pumpkins have a lot of tendrils and odd things, so I'm gonna just continue, on up the pumpkin stem, like this. And now comes the fiddly part. Of trying to figure out how I'm going to finish off this end. So let's put lots of glue on there. And I kind of wanted it to come to a sort of point here. Kind of like that. So let me just cut this excess away, and we'll glue it down and see if that suits. So I just squirted a lot of glue in the top. I'm going to kind of pinch it together, see if I can form a stem. Just hold it for just a moment. Trim off this thread. And then let me glue down the back. Now remember guys, this may not be your style. You can do it any way you want, but this is definitely my style. So there, oh, well you can't see. I would like it to be just a little fatter at the bottom down here. So I think I'm gonna use the remainder of that 18-inch piece and see if I can't thicken it up. But I will also share that there is a big spray of flowers that's gonna go across the top. So the base is not as important if it is a little bit, I'll say, off what your plans were. Okay, so I am going to continue gluing this burlap around for a pumpkin stem, and I will bring you back when I have all 3 completed and we're ready to wire the pumpkins together. Well, I have all 3 of my pumpkins stems, if you will, wrapped in the burlap. I took a little break to have some lunch, and now I'm not sure where I left off. The other thing that I did is I just took some wire. Now this was a little bit heavy gauge, but it was what I had in my stash, and I wired the pumpkins together so that they're fairly sturdy. When I get ready to hang it, it's probably going to be hanging from the 2 edge pumpkins more so than the middle, depending on how I attach the wire hanger. So I decided, and I don't know how well you can see, that the burlap was a little bit too similar to the color of the edges of the pumpkin. So what I have here is some Tim Holtz Distress Oxide, and this is Vintage Photo. Certainly not a requirement, but I wanted to dirty and grungy it up a little bit because pumpkin stems are not always perfect color, right? You could even put some green in it if you wanted, or just different tones. But I think that gives it a little something something. Now, the final thing I'm going to do, and I'm going to give you some ideas. So you could use puff paint. That is what Country Charm by Tracy did. She went around like in a squiggle. I did not care for that. I thought it made it look like a cookie, but maybe I was just hungry for cookies, just saying. I like cookies. Cookies are good. So I thought about putting the rope inside here, and I think it would have been okay if they were more overlapped, but this is the width I was going for. So I decided I'm just going to leave it be. I'm not going to add anything to this because to me it does look like a pumpkin, and I think once we get the fall flowers on the top as well as the bows, it's really going to look fall-ish. So let me grab here. I bought this from Walmart. This is not a Dollar Tree bouquet, and I did show it on my haul. And the reason I liked it is it did have the buffalo plaid pumpkins, and let's see, it has a white pumpkin. So it has a lot of things, the big flowers, the berries. So I decided this was what I wanted to use for our pumpkin spray. And I'm thinking I just want to bend it out like this. And so what I am going to do is just take a common pair of wire cutters, and I'm going to cut these branches off close to the stem, leaving them as long as I can. Y'all have to excuse me. I have kind of bad hand strength, so there may be some grunting and groaning going on. Ugh. This is a relatively new wire cutter. Oh, well, it helps if you do them one at a time. I think I had 2 in there. And I will also say that these Walmart stems are a little more sturdy than what you're going to find at the Dollar Tree. And they have a definite better selection, but I bought a lot of different stems at the Dollar Tree, and I think for $1, it's worth it. This one, I believe, and guys, don't quote me on it, I believe I paid $3.94. but you get a lot for that price. So this is the piece that I cut off. Just gonna lay that aside, and to show you, it's called a peony and pumpkin bouquet if you want to try to find the exact bouquet. So now that we have everything cut apart, we can kind of take stock of what's here. So we've got some pumpkins. I could have sworn there were 4 pumpkins, but I guess there's only 3. We've got white flowers, and we've got these little sprays with berries. So yeah, let's just kind of sort it out so it can be fairly symmetrical. That and that. So I am no flower arranger, guys. I will just share that. I'm gonna simply eyeball it and do my best to make this look pretty, and we shall go from there. So I do have wire here. I also have, unfortunately, the only pipe cleaners I have are neon green and purple, which may interfere and show, and I don't want that. So I'm probably going to wire this together. I think that's going to be the most logical way to do it. So, and no rule that says, hey, you have to use every single piece that you cut out. You can certainly save some for later, save some for another time, which I think I will probably be doing. Okay, we don't want to lose the pumpkin. And you can kind of bend these to suit you. What I'm aiming for is pretty much a straight spray, like I guess if I tip up like this. So add these pretties. I don't know, this reminds me of dogwood, which shouldn't be in a fall bouquet, but whatever. All right, so just kind of get it until it's pleasing to you. And I am going to pause you for a moment so you don't have to watch me struggle. I'm going to wire this together and wire it to the middle pumpkin here at the base of the stem, and then we'll start working on a bow. So once you have your flowers arranged, let me tip you up here, how you like them. I actually did add some fall leaves because I want to use some orange in my ribbon to kind of highlight the pumpkin. Then you can start working on your bow. And one of the things I wanted to share with you is that anytime I purchase something like this was some autumn throws, I save all of the ribbon that comes with. A lot of times it has Velcro for storing, you know, wrapping them back up and storing them off season. Unfortunately, I can't do that because mine's usually in a wreath or in something. But this is a pretty sizable piece of burlap. I thought it would look nice with the direction that I'm going. I've also pulled out some orange burlap that goes nicely with the screen. Of course, I need the buffalo plaid. And then I have just some burlap here. And finally, I have some raffia. So how I like to make my bows is pretty simple. So let me move our project over a bit. And I did buy, all of these ribbons came from the Dollar Tree, so only $1. So I just kind of wing it, and I like them multi-layered. And doggone, I'm gonna have trouble with my scissors. That's why I keep pausing, you guys. My fuddle fingers, so frustrating. That and the blister I raised, the very first hot glue I put down. So guys, be very, very careful. I did mention I've ordered myself a new hot glue gun. I ordered the mini stick and the low heat. The other thing, this one doesn't have an automatic feed, so it can be super frustrating. So let's start here with the whitest ribbon, I think. And I want this to be a pretty ornate bow. So that's about a 10-inch tail and about a 4-inch loop. So if you want your bows to be fairly even, that's a good way to do it. So let me just cut this off. So that's going to be my base bow. This is a wired ribbon. And I will tell you, it is kind of hard to gather any type of burlap. So somewhere in this mess, I highly recommend a mini stapler. This one happens to be Tim Holtz. I purchased this for my paper crafting, but it has all kinds of applications, let me tell you. So I am going to kind of hold this together, at least to start, with a couple staples, if it will cooperate. This is actually even a little thick for this stapler, but let's give it another try. Okay, that is better. So there is a possible base bow. I may want to actually even use something different in addition, but let's go ahead and make a similar bow. And I tell you, I'm gonna cut that tail off, but let's do about a 6-inch or maybe 8-inch tail, a small loop. And again, this is another one of those burlap ribbons, so it can make it a little bit tough to pipe cleaner or tie it without it coming apart. And you kind of want to hold your shape so you can see, you know, how you're coming along, how you like your arrangement. So I think in between those two, I want a nice big buffalo plaid, because you can never have too much buffalo plaid. So yeah, that's about right. So I'm going to keep layering the bow. When I finish, I am going to twist it together with just a pipe cleaner. Need to put that on my ordering list. And then I'm going to show you a couple more things, and then we'll have the final product. So stay tuned. And here we have our final splatter screen pumpkins with the beautiful bow and flower arrangement. Well, I hope you've enjoyed today's Falloween craft video, and drop me a comment below. Is this something you're going to try to make? I think it would look beautiful on the front door, almost anywhere that you would choose to put it in your home. And if you do make one, go on over to our Facebook group, The Wellness Homesteader, not the page, the group, and drop a picture of what you make. I'd love to see it. So as always, be healthy, be well, be blessed, and I'll see you all very soon. Take care.